Dr. Nnamdi Azikiwe, often referred to as Zik of Africa, was a prominent Nigerian statesman, orator, and national leader who played a key role in Nigeria's struggle for independence. He was born on November 16, 1904 in Zungeru, northern Nigeria, which was then part of the British colonial administration. Azikiwe's early life was marked by a diverse cultural exposure due to his upbringing in various parts of Nigeria. In this edition of Back in History, we take you through his life and times and his contributions to regional and national politics of Nigeria and his escape from assassination in 1966 when Nigeria witnessed its first military coup. Welcome to this edition of Back in History. Dr. Nnamdi Azikiwe's father, Obededom Chukwuemeka Azikiwe, was a clerk in the colonial administration. As a staff of the colonial administration, Nnamdi's father was transferred from place to place. His father was a man who believed so much in family and thus chose to be traveling with his wife and children to wherever he was transferred. This is how Nnamdi was born in Zungeru in present-day Niger State to Igbo Christian parents. He grew up there and became fluent in the Hausa language. His father also served in Lagos, and the young Nnamdi got integrated seamlessly into the Yoruba culture and also became fluent in the Yoruba language. In his later life in politics, Nnamdi Azikiwe was able to address political gatherings in Igbo, Hausa, and Yoruba languages. These endeared him so much to many people who felt easily at home with him. Azikiwe attended several schools, also as a result of his father's transfers from place to place. He attended Holy Trinity School in Onitsha and later attended Christ Church School, also in Onitsha. He later moved from Onitsha to Lagos, where he attended Wesleyan Boys High School, Lagos. In 1918, he went back to Onitsha in the east, where he attended CMS Central School. While there at CMS, his father was transferred to Calabar in present-day Cross River State. Nnamdi left Onitsha and joined his father in Calabar, and while there, he attended the famous Hope Wardle Training College, Calabar. Upon graduation from secondary school, Nnamdi took employment as a clerk with the colonial government, and while there, he applied to schools in the United States of America for admission. He gained admission into Storer College in West Virginia. From Storer College, he gained admission into Howard University in Washington, D.C. And in 1927, he graduated with a bachelor's degree in political science. From here, he gained admission in 1930 into Lincoln University in Pennsylvania and University of Pennsylvania, where he studied at the same time for 2 master's degrees. In 1932, he successfully graduated with a master's degree in religion and philosophy from Lincoln, and in 1933, he graduated with a master's degree in anthropology from University of Pennsylvania, all in the United States of America. Hungry for more education, Nnamdi Azikiwe went further and enrolled at the Columbia University, where he obtained a PhD. He worked as a lecturer in the History and Political Science department in Lincoln University, where he created a course on African history, the first of its kind in the university. His time in the United States of America deeply influenced his views on nationalism and civil rights. Upon returning to Nigeria, Azikiwe entered the world of journalism and founded the West African Pilot in 1937. He operated both in Nigeria and Ghana and had offices in both places for the production and sale of his newspaper. The newspaper quickly became a prominent voice advocating for the independence of Nigeria and other African countries. The newspaper soon became instrumental in the development of nationalist thoughts in West Africa. His work as a journalist won him wide admiration and established him as a leading voice against colonial rule. Dr. Azikiwe's formal political career began with the formation of the National Council of Nigeria and the Cameroons, NCNC, in 1944. As a leader of the NCNC, he advocated for increased indigenous representation in government and self-governance. His political journey saw him serve as the Premier of Eastern Nigeria. It was during his time as Premier of Eastern Nigeria that he built the University of Nigeria, Nsukka, and tailored it after the American system of education. This was the first of its kind in Nigeria, where University College Ibadan, for instance, was tailored after the British system. Azikiwe introduced the American system owing to his educational background from the United States of America. In 1960, when Nigeria gained independence from British colonial rule, Azikiwe moved to the center in Lagos and became the first indigenous governor general. 3 years later, Nigeria became a republic, and Azikiwe became the first president of the country from 1963 to 1966. His tenure as president, though mostly ceremonial, was marked by efforts to foster national unity and promote democracy. He was on his way to the Bahamas for holiday when the first military coup was executed in Nigeria in January 1966 by a group of army majors who arrested, shot, and killed Prime Minister Balewa and many other key officials of government and senior military officers. Analysts have stated that if Azikiwe was in the country at the time of the coup, he would have been killed. Azikiwe was a proponent of African unity, education, and democracy. His writings and speeches often emphasized the importance of these themes in realizing Africa's potential. Azikiwe's vision for a united, prosperous, and self-reliant Africa earned him significant respect across the continent. After the military coup that ended the First Nigerian Republic, Azikiwe's active political influence waned, though he remained a respected elder statesman and an advocate for peace during the Nigeria-Biafra Civil War and beyond. Dr. Nnamdi Azikiwe passed on to the great beyond on May 11, 1996 at the age of 91. He died at the University of Nigeria Teaching Hospital Enugu, where he had been admitted for treatment. At the time of his death, General Sani Abacha was the head of state of Nigeria, and on the orders of the head of state, the Zik of Africa was given a befitting state funeral following nearly 2 weeks of national ceremonies. His body was taken to various important cities in Nigeria for mourning and tributes, and on 16th November 1996, his body was interred in Onitsha, his place of origin. His funeral was attended by the creme de la creme of the Nigerian society and beyond. In its tribute, the New York Times spoke of Dr. Nnamdi Azikiwe in the following words, quote, "He towered over the affairs of Africa's most populous nation, attaining the rare status of a truly national hero who came to be admired across the regional and ethnic lines dividing his country." End of quote. Tribute also poured in from across Nigeria and across the world. Azikiwe was indeed a towering figure. President Muhammadu Buhari undertook the completion of the Dr. Nnamdi Azikiwe Mausoleum, where the remains of the late sage was interred. The mausoleum was then named a national monument. His legacy continues as a symbol of Nigeria's nationalist movement, and his life and accomplishments remain integral chapters in Nigeria's history. He remained a sufficient figure in Nigerian politics, advocating for democracy and unity. His political career left an enduring legacy characterized by his commitment to education, national integration, and leadership. He is remembered as a foundational figure in Nigerian politics and a fervent advocate for an independent Africa. His memory shall remain green in the minds of many in Nigeria and Africa, and his leadership qualities shall continue to be studied in educational institutions and in political circles for many years to come. Thanks for watching this edition of Back in History, and do remember to subscribe to the channel or follow the page for regular notification on every new video. I remain your friend and host Nnamdi, wishing you the best of time as you continue to accompany me on this mission for the documentation and preservation of the story of Africa.